that are in this documentary, these are people who are doing things out in the community. These are people who you probably see every day, all day. These people are prominent figures into the community. They either do healthcare, one's a pastor.
The hardest part, I would say, about living out loud is the fact that we're not accepted everywhere.
I was watching this television show called Maury, and they had these girls on there, and they said they lesbians, and I think you got the same attributes that these lesbians have. Are you a lesbian? And I'm like, Granny, no, I'm not a lesbian. Like, I would go to hell for that. She was like, all right now. And a couple of years after that, when I was ready to accept it, I went back to my grandmother and I told her, I said, you know, Granny, I do like women and I am a lesbian. And she was like, well, you know I love you, but you know you're going to hell, right? And so she would be the first person that I actually came out to.
I mean, I think the world would be a better place if we all come out, but the truth is not all of us can come out. And so I respect that. But it makes it difficult to date, because when you tell a guy that not only are you gay and not only are you out, but that you work at one of the largest agencies for LGBT folk in the region, and your pictures in the newspaper and your pictures on the wall and your pictures on the website, and everywhere we go someone knows me and wants to shake hands or hug and kiss. How do you be discreet or down low or closeted with someone who is that connected to the community? And so I have to say, being myself, living out loud has had its benefits, but the drawback has been I've been single ever since.
Being married to Darlene is the biggest cliche in the world, because I am truly married to my best friend. And that is a cliche you hear all the time, but I'm living that. I live it.
I started the first DPS GSA, Gay Straight Student Alliance, at Northern, and it left when I left. It ended when I ended, and I'm not sure if DPS has started another one since then.
I want young black men and women who are questioning themselves because of who they are. I want them to see positive role models.
Welcome to the great city of Detroit!
Have any of you done anything at a young age that could have been considered sexual in a homosexual way, like with another kid of the same sex? And did you get caught? And if you did, how was it perceived with your parents, whoever caught you? I'll give you an example. I remember standing outside and kissing a little girl. My older sister saw me and told my mother, and I got a spanking for it. So can you tell me of anything that you've done as a child and how it was received, if your parents either just pulled you to the side and talked to you about it, or?
I remember when I was 6 years old. At 6 years old, I remember going to the back of the garage with one of my friends who was a neighbor of my aunt. And I mean, I ain't the only one. Y'all just ain't want to speak.
I did too. I ain't gonna lie, that's why I'm laughing.
But even at that age, I knew something was wrong with two boys being together, because when his older sister called us back there, she was like, "Get y'all nasty asses from back here." So immediately at 6, I thought it was nasty. And even though I enjoyed it, I knew that I shouldn't tell anybody, because if I expected to do it again, you know, it.
Think about the next day.
Right. And so even then I knew that there was something wrong. So even at 6, I knew that there was something wrong with two boys being together. And so I postured myself for the rest of my life to not be perceived in that negativity. And that's been a struggle, because as out as I am and as comfortable as I am, in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking, this person doesn't know me, so this person probably thinks this is a bad thing. And that translates into becoming who I am. I wanted to be a teacher. That's what I wanted to do. And growing up thinking it's bad that you're gay prevented me from being a teacher, because the last thing I wanted was for somebody's parent to say, "Oh, you can't teach my son because you're gay." I can't even get to the parenting part of my son can't come to your kid's party because I'm gay. It was really this parent or this administrator might say, "Oh, you're gay, so you're a child molester, and you can't be with children, or anything like that. And so it's shaped. Learning that at 6 has shaped how I see myself even to this day. And it's a fight and struggle to remember I am fine the way that I am. But we reward boys for kissing girls. Nobody rewards boys for kissing boys or girls for kissing girls. The culture opposes it.
I never got caught.
Yeah, I mean,
But the time that I did get caught, I don't know if I told you this, but the time that I did get caught, it was with a girl.
Wow.
And I still got a whooping. And their garage set back too far, so we were between the back of the house and the garage. But that I did get caught that time. It was when I think about it, it was the weirdest thing because we didn't know what we were doing. It was the weirdest thing.
And that's so funny because I remember now when I was about 8.
Speaking, I stayed at one end of the block, she stayed at the other end. I promise you, for at least 3 to 4 years, I did not see her.
Wow.
When every other kid on the block would be out playing, even her brother could come outside, I did not see her for at least 3 to 4 years straight.
And it's so funny hearing that you got in trouble for that because I remember now when I was 8, I was on the side of the house kissing some girl. She was a teenager. And my dad had heard us from above. And he said,
Loud kissing. Right.
well, he may not have heard the kiss. He could have heard us on the side of the stop. But I didn't get in trouble for that. I didn't get in trouble. He says, you better stop all those shenanigans on the side of the house. But I didn't feel like it was negative. I didn't get a whooping. I didn't get hit or anything. And it's just different. And I think that has, when I hear you say you got in trouble, that to me seems like our families had different values.
I remember in the 2nd grade, my parent didn't catch me, but the girl's older sister, she was like, we were in the 1st grade, she was in the 5th, so she was considerably older than us, and I ended up getting in a fight with her sister because she was so mad that her sister was kissing another girl. And then I remember we had to go to the office, and I remember that the girl didn't bring that part up. They kept the kissing part out of it. And then I remember a couple years before 2nd grade, I did get caught with a little boy kissing, and I got a whooping, about that. So my parents would have been in trouble either, or it didn't matter because it just shouldn't have been kissing.
Did you win the fight? Who got beat up?
I did win the fight.
Yeah.
I was a little fighter.
You beat up a 5th grader.
Yeah. A little tomboy.
I can't believe we just rewarded that.
Just saying,
So-
David and Goliath.
So you guys now with the marriage equality laws, tell me how you guys feel about what's happening.
It's exciting. It is so exciting. I follow a few different sites, and I think it was, I can't remember who it was. It was like Out or The Advocate, one of the two. And on Twitter, I was just on Twitter, and they had some type of link. Click the link, and it showed all the states. And I'm like, in the states that had lifted the ban were in red, and it was so much red. And it was, it was closing in on us, all of us in the Midwest. From Michigan, pretty much going straight down, Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee, Kentucky, like all the way down. And I'm like, good, it's closing in.
I think a lot of times we celebrate prematurely, like things happen, and we think that that's adding to our rights, and it's not. Like when Obama spoke out and said that he was in support of gay marriage, everybody was so excited, but it didn't mean shit. Like it didn't change any laws. This was just a man on his 2nd term, by the way, saying that, and I love me some Obama, don't get me wrong. I love him, but like, it was just his opinion.
Yes, I get happy that, Ohio or Illinois or whatever state, it's like it is happy to see that. But me and her were talking, it's like, yeah, I want to move. Like, I really want to move. Like, I don't want to be in a place where I have 0 rights, where if, like, we broke up today, she could just take my kids and leave and I have 0 rights. Like, I have friends that happened to right here in Michigan. So, for me, it's like, yeah, I'm happy that Oklahoma has rights. Well, let's move to Oklahoma because, I don't want to, not Oklahoma for a plan.
But you move to Oklahoma, then you're dealing with the race stuff. So it's like you trade.
Well,
one
no,
thing-
I just threw a state out there, to be honest. Like, I don't even know if they have rights, but I just mean,
I just got rights in Oklahoma.
yeah,
I don't know if we got rights.
Yeah, I just threw a state out there, but no, it just means like being married and having real, it's just like, oh, okay, I'm happy that this state has it as an overall for our community, but then it makes you really frustrated when you live in a state where you don't have those rights.
Iology Inc., an innovative, navigational, and creative company that works with its clients from the inside out. We believe in walking our clients hand in hand, from concept creation to brand management. Our innovative process assists our clients in conceptualizing, developing, building, rebuilding, or restructuring their lives, businesses, and brands. Are you ready to be seen, heard, and remembered? Contact us at iologyinc.com.
I think marriage equality, for the most part, is much an issue about class. Because there are some folks that ain't thinking about getting married and they can legally get married. They're thinking about, how do I provide for my children? How do I put a chicken on the table? Or all these things. So some of us don't give two damns about marriage equality. But I do think that every victory chips away at this system that you're speaking of. I mean, you talk about Obama. Yeah, on one end, he just gave his opinion. But sometimes, depending on who you are, that opinion resonates in everything that we do. There's a difference between me standing on Grand River and Greenfield saying, marriage equality for everybody, but let Obama do the same thing. People start to shift their thinking. At the end of the day, I want to be able to go to the hospital and make decisions for my significant other without someone stigmatizing me based on their opinion. I want to be able to say, if I choose to get married to someone, that it's legitimate, not just in my eyes, but in the system that we are forced to engage in that is already exploiting us in the first place. So nobody else should be able to determine for me the quality of my relationship based on their values. And because of that, I reject your religion. I reject all these things that resemble inequality, and I'm more accepting of people than I am judgmental of people. And I think that makes me a better human being.
I also think with marriage equality, it's just like a basic right. That it's just like if we're black and if you're a woman, there were a time where you couldn't vote, you know, so it was just so many like human rights have been denied for people, and I think this is just one of the things that it's just a basic human right that if you fall in love with someone, you're able to go get married, and I think this is simply
It's as simple as that. Like, it's just that simple. If you love someone, you should be able to go get married.
What is more important, being African American or being gay?
Neither.
Neither.
What's important is just you being yourself and treat people how you want to be treated.
You're here.
You're just here.
Agree.
However,
She's
I will
answer
say,
for the group.
wait. I will say this though. You don't, well, maybe for me and Jermaine, you don't immediately know we're gay when you see us. But immediately, I mean, yeah, like, immediately though, you get you believe you know for sure that we're black. And so, in terms of being recognizable or identifiable, I have to say being black may be a little bit more important because that's the lens that people, that's the thing that people
Automatically,
see.
before you even open your mouth.
And so I have to posture myself in a way that allows me not to be exploited, not to be attacked, not to be judged, because that's the first thing people see. Now, I can butch it up a little bit, and perhaps I may be able to fall under the radar, but being out kind of jeopardizes that. And so, but I would have to say being black, but I'm with you. I'd rather we not even have to have that discussion. But that's unrealistic, because being black is a major part of my identity.
The last time that we spoke, we talked about religion and homosexuality. And some of your views may have been a certain way. Has any of your views changed in respect to homosexuality and it being a sin in your religion?
No, not for me.
No.
I really don't care about religion as it relates to my identity. It is not useful whatsoever, because you give me someone's doctrine and say I'm supposed to live by it. Okay, how about I have my own? How about I've evolved further than what this religion is? And so, but I no longer see myself through the lens of religion. Period. And if it means that I'm going to hell, then I welcome it. Because I am going to be who I am, authentic. And based on the values we have on top of the earth, that works for me. I can't really be concerned with, I mean, if I can't be concerned with our haters, so to speak, while I'm here, I'm certainly not going to be concerned about something that's on a different end of this energy. And I think, though I do think that what happens to us when we die is as legitimate as what happens to us here, I am not about to get bent out of shape about what someone else has amassed in terms of rules that I'm supposed to live by. They can keep it.
I talked about growing up a Jehovah's Witness last taping, and some things that I became aware of was that I needed to kind of go on a spiritual journey as well, because like me and my wife would have these conversations, and I would just spit out things without thinking about them, and it would always be like a Jehovah's Witness doctrine. So even though like I'm out and I don't think it's like a sin and everything, I'm happy and married and gay and all that kind of thing, like, but when I talked about like spiritual and religious things, it always like came out. Like if you asked me certain questions, it would always be like something that I had learned from a Jehovah's doctrine. So now I'm learning to like open my eyes and not be so quick to judge, you know. And I always like prided myself from not being a judgmental person, but realizing that I was when it comes to certain things of religion. I would be so dismissive about it. And so now I'm learning to like read different doctrines, feel okay about going to church. Like I never told anyone, but like when I would walk into church, I would just feel like immediately guilty. And it was weird because like,
I did that too.
yeah, I never felt guilty about being gay anymore. I think I had came to grips with that a long time ago. But I would feel so guilty like walking into church, and now like I've been going to church a little more, and I don't feel guilt. I'm actually happy and excited to go, and actually feel like spiritually fed. I wouldn't feel spiritually fed when I would go to church. I would feel guilty. So that's something that's been going on with me for a year. Just and it's been hard to accept certain doctrines about like heaven and accepting different religions. My wife is Muslim, so you know that was kind of hard for me to listen to some of her teachings and doctrines. I would almost like instantly be like, whoa, you know. And so I'm learning not to be that kind of person anymore, and to dismiss like 20 years worth of almost brainwashing in aspects.
I've learned that what I do now, because you know you're always going to get, well, what do Jehovah's Witnesses believe? And what I've learned to start doing, and I think that this has changed with me, is that I say, well, they believe this and they believe that, and people are like, what? That's what y'all believe? No. It's not y'all, because I'm not them. But that's what they believe. I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. I grew up as one, you know, and because I grew up with it, and it was 19 years of my life, I know everything that they taught me. In 19 years of my life, you know, you at the meetings 3 times a week. Right, and then you out in service 3 to 4, you know, depending on what you're doing, if you're pioneering up, you know, doing that. It's constant. It's constant. You know, people go to church Sunday, or they may go to church and Bible study 2 days out the week. Being a Jehovah's Witness is as regular as you getting up and getting dressed. Just like that. It's always a part of your life. When you're a kid, holidays come up, you can't celebrate. Birthday parties, it's every single day of your life. So you know it automatically, and when religion comes up, stuff that you already know about it happens instantly in your mind. You know, the Bible says this and this is what. So I've learned to start saying, well, they believe this, you know, they believe that, and it's not y'all, it's not what I believe, but this is what Jehovah's Witnesses believe. If you're asking me what they teach.
Does anybody here have any negative feelings about who you are, or are you okay 100% about being African American, lesbian, or gay?
I feel good. Crunk ready.
I have issues. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I have issues with myself that I may or may not eventually work on. It won't be today, but they don't have a lot to do with being black or being gay. More personality issues than anything. And my only issues about surrounding being black or being gay would be dealing with other people's attitudes, perceptions, etc. I don't have too many feelings about that, because those things I just am. You know what I mean? But like having an attitude problem or talking to people reckless, that's something that I do, and I can work on the change. I can't change who I am. I can change what I do. So that's what I worry about.
I like who I am. 'Cause I'm pretty cool. But at the end of the day, I have to say, navigating this American system, if I could choose to be a white, rich, cisgender man, 6'2", I'd do that in a heartbeat, because it's hard being a black gay man in Detroit. It's hard to be that. It's hard to wake up every day and say, I choose to be happy, when I know that there are 15 people behind me hoping that I fail. And sometimes it's just because I'm black. Sometimes it's because I'm gay. Sometimes it's just because my head wrap and they don't know if I'm Muslim. It could be that my lips are a little bit too glossy for them. And so it's too much pressure. It's too hard. And so if I could choose to be something different, I probably would. But at the end of the day, since I know that I cannot do that, I have to find ways every single day to be okay with who I am. Because these are the current circumstances, and hopefully it may be different in another lifetime.
Have you ever just tried to not worry about what everybody else thinks?
I mean, we can say that, and that's cute. But at the end of the day, we do worry about what people say. I didn't come
to an extent. I think to an extent you cannot care people. I would not trade being black for anything. Going back on your point, so much has been taken from us. Why?
Right.
Why do you need to take something from me? Something you don't have that I clearly do. Why I wouldn't want to be attached to anything else. Being black, the culture behind it is so rich. It's so rich. Black folks back in Africa, we've always been community oriented. Always have been supportive. We've always had, not everyone has rhythm, but and I'm a music lover, but the music, the rhythm, the drive, the force behind it, the passion.
We was the smartest.
We smart.
We cooked for the white people. We was cooking for them.
We have all of these things to our culture that folks decided, well, wait, they have this. And not just one or two things. They have these things that we just don't. Right, so we need to take it, we need to tear it apart, we need to make it seem like it's bad, we need to divide it, we need to do everything we can to take this group of people to make them feel like who they are aren't good enough.
But this ain't about pride.
But this
is about navigating a system that was designed for us to fail in the first place.
But
and reward white men, cis heterosexual men. There's rewards for being that.
But the good part about it is that even being black, it's not as open as it is to other people. It's not as open. But when you can get up and you can say, okay, I've done enough in my life where I've done this, I've accomplished this, and I'm happy with that. Where in years back you could not do that. So the fact that you can at least say for your life and whatever you choose to do or accomplish, that you can do it. Even as hard as it may be and as many roadblocks as you may meet with it, the fact that at some point you have the opportunity and you may have to wiggle around and go under bridges and over bridges and go back out of space and around a few planets to come back to get there, the fact that you have at least a chance to get there is much more rewarding than someone saying, oh, here, and you not even appreciate what's been even given to you.
And I don't disagree with you. But what I'm saying is, as hard as it is, and I'm still enduring, some shit just shouldn't happen.
That's sure.
It should not be this difficult because the playing field was not designed for us, and we still made it. That's something to be proud of. But what I'm saying is, I'm tired of having to navigate this system with my black self, with my gay self, when there are some parts of the people in our communities that don't have to. And to me, it's not about pride. It's not about asking myself, why do we do care about what other people think.
Elevation Nation Media Group, an entertainment agent for media coverage and access. We create and produce inspired development video and audio content, such as films, short films, documentaries, talk shows, transformational reality shows, radio shows, podcasts, PSAs, commercials, video profiles, and video resumes. Why Elevation Nation Media Group? Because we elevate you by any means necessary. Contact us at www.elevationnationmedia.com.
I mean, we come in, we do.
I'm going to have to disagree.
But let me finish though.
Go ahead.
We do. I covered my nipples. Because I didn't want to. We do care.
Joe,
Caring
look.
about what people say.
I did too.
Joe was like, it was just out of the corner of my eye that I saw your head go.
Like,
but caring about what people
bad days
think,
in there?
caring about what people think is not necessarily linked to negative things. I care about
Wait,
people.
did you finish that thought?
What's the nipple guy?
What I'm saying is, I did that for a reason because I didn't want people looking at my nakedness.
Oh.
Because I cared about what people might think about my nakedness. My point is, every time that we care about what someone thinks, doesn't mean that it's a negative thing. I care about the positive things too. It is only the negative things that bother me. And I shouldn't have to navigate this system having the identity that I have and it being so tough when I can switch gender, switch race rather, and switch sexual orientation and have a better chance.
You shouldn't even have to do all that.
We can't do all
You
that.
shouldn't have
Which
to.
is
That's
my
not what
point.
he's saying. He's just
It's
saying
called-
that they do. White cisgendered men do
Have
have certain
privilege.
privileges that
I don't have.
he's not afforded.
It's obvious. It's got to be a reason behind that.
The reason behind what?
It's like, okay, I used to feel like this when I used to care about what other people think. I used to care about how everybody felt. I used to care about this. Just like, okay, I got hit in my mouth when I was 12. For a long time, you couldn't see my mouth.
Is that why you're covering it now?
No, this is how I used to talk. You see what I'm saying? I used to care about, I had a complex about my hair because I have a long head. So if I cut my hair, will they talk about my hair? Or I would never wear no ponytails because I had a long head. So when I was too busy caring about how they felt, it brought me down. So what I have learned over the years, I stopped caring about what everybody think. Now, you see my smile. I will put my hair in a ponytail in a minute, and I have a big long head, and I love my long sexy hair, so I'm called a Betty Boop. So I have to, I don't care anymore, so that's the confidence that I had to stop worrying about what other people think and have to maneuver around. Okay, if he can get it, let me see how I can get it if he can get it too. I can't get mad because he got it before me. Okay, how did you become a nurse? What did you do? You see what I'm saying?
But that's not what I'm saying though. What
I
I'm saying
think that, but going off of what you're saying is that I think that you have to. She said that you don't have to care what people think, and your response was, "Well, that's cute." You can make anything that you want possible. You don't have to care what people think.
Exactly.
Trust me, I will throw on a small t-shirt with nothing underneath it. And if my nipples are out, they're out. And if people see them and they talk about them today.
But see, this is not about just a negative thing. What I'm saying is even a positive thing.
It's not negative.
I don't even think of it as negative. Mm-hmm. It's constant. People are going to see you and they're going to judge you based off of whatever. Mm-hmm. I've heard people say, well, I don't like her. Well, why not? Just because. Just because it has never spoken to them. So I think if you're concerned with what everyone thinks, I think if you just get concerned with it, really, in your life and what you do day to day, and if you're doing good things, if you're being positive, and if you're, helping people and doing things like that, if you get so bombarded with, well, what are people going to think about this, like that, then I think that being black and being gay, that's going to make it so much harder. I'm black and I'm gay. I don't really care what people think.
The issue with that is that, like, generally my attitude is I don't give a fuck about what people think, right? Generally speaking. But the problem when you're black and you're gay is that sometimes people's opinions go from opinion to law and they do impact your life.
Absolutely.
So it's easy.
Absolutely.
It's easy for me to say to somebody in a similar life circumstance, like I say, I don't give a fuck if she don't like my outfit, whatever, fuck her. You know what I mean? But if she were my senator, I might give a fuck about what she think, and not because I care about her thoughts, but I care about what her thoughts could mean for my life. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's easy to generally not give a fuck about what your peers think about you, but once it starts to go out of that, but it's not worry like, oh my God, they're not gonna like my outfit or not gonna like my shirt or whatever. It's just that knowing people assume because you're gay and you gay and you this, that you a child molester, you got AIDS, you got this, you got whatever is going on, and it's just these assumptions become bigger than just people's personal thoughts. Exactly. And once they become bigger than that, it's it can impact your life, and it's not just like, you can't just be like, fuck you, I don't care what you think. You don't care what I think when you can't buy a house, because I assume that you gay. You feel me? So sometimes it becomes big, it just becomes bigger than, I don't worry about nobody's opinion.
The last time that we had this group discussion, you guys talked about your family. And I want to know, has your mother accepted her daughter-in-law in this past year?
Oh,
We've had some progress. They met.
She came to the house. Yeah, she came to the house. It stared at me for a while, and and she asked, we had a conversation, and it was actually really good. She gave me her peach cobbler recipe,
which nobody has.
Apparently, it doesn't get passed around a lot, and we had a really good conversation, and it was funny because it was almost traditional, like what you would see in the movie. She started telling me about her husband having to help her more the older she got, and she said something like, and I don't know if Jonika would do that, or she said, I'm sure Jonika would do that for you. And I said, have you met your daughter? She don't clean up. She don't do nothing. And I remember when she left, she like checked her about it. And she's been back to the house again when I was at work, but my son was there, and apparently she like helped him with homework and everything. So I think that for her, it may be a constant battle of, she's a Jehovah's Witness. And if you genuinely believe associating yourself with someone is going to send you to hell, then I can fully understand not associating. But I think that we've met once, we had a conversation, she was really pleasant. That's all I'm expecting. I wasn't even expecting that. That's all I can ask for. So that, to me, in a year, that's a lot of progress. That's a lot of progress for somebody in her situation.
Yeah, and we've had progress in our relationship. We had kind of a just mother to daughter, let's put it all on the table kind of conversation, and it was done respectfully. And we both, agreed to disagree on some parts, and our relationship has considerably grown. When she did come to the house while Kenge was gone, she kept stopping Patrick and saying, remind him to call her Grandma Joanne. And every time we talk on the phone, she asks about Patrick, and she brings up Nkenge in a good light, because we kind of had an issue when honestly, when we first got pregnant. She made me a little upset, because I always my expectation for my mother is just high, and I want her to do more. She was like, well, who egg did you use? And she started like really getting deep into like, well, I don't know if it's my grandchild, and I really started getting worried that she wasn't going to accept our baby. And now she's talking about, well, I'm buying a car seat, and you can't use this type of car seat, and this is my grandbaby. So we've had a lot of progress in that department.
That's good.
And for the people who are watching the documentary, can you tell them how important it is to be patient about things like this?
I definitely will say you have to be patient. At the point we are with my mother, and then like a year ago, I was kind of trying to push it and make it happen. Like every time we would talk on the phone, I would try to make sure I brought up my family and try to just kind of force it. And it wasn't being received well. So I would definitely say being patient is important, because people have convictions, just like I have my convictions that I don't want to, my mom wants me to become a Jehovah's Witness, and I get really upset if she sends me publications and things like that. But I want her to respect me, so I need to respect her and just be patient. And it comes because your family loves you, and I know that my mom truly loves me. And I think also by me being married is becoming well received than just being single and having different girlfriends and doing things like that. I think now she's able to say, well, you're not following exactly what I want, but you're the closest to normal, her normal that she knows. So just be patient, and hopefully your family will come around.
We're going to wrap this up. So what I'd like for you to do is to kind of tell us what you hope now, a year later, that this documentary will do for the people that are watching that. And we won't generalize the type of people that will watch it, so anyone who watches it.
Well, I would hope that, and I'm sure like probably a lot of the DM people will probably know that it's gay content or whatever, that they won't judge it before they actually watch it, and that, straight as well as gay people watch the document and see and hope that they get something from it, you know, and also know that a lot of this stuff is just normal. It has nothing to do with your sexuality, in my opinion. You know, the things that he is struggling, what he's going through, or what he's accomplished, as well as, you know, the rest of the people on the panel. Couch.
I want to know what the hell I'm going through.
Well, you know, I mean, you know, just not necessarily going through, but whatever you're experiencing and whatever, us all, that is. And that I hope that people are able to see it and see themselves in our light as well. And also take from it that just to be yourself and come into your own and don't wait till you're 40 to be on your spiritual journey.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes, because I feel like, you know, and regrettably, I feel like I wasted a lot of time. And I know people say, well, it's never too late or whatever, but I do feel this. This is how I feel. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I want to continue on that, and I hope that people would get that lesson early on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know we get taught lessons through our life, and sometimes we take to them, and sometimes I think back about some of the things that was told to me, and I'm like, damn, I wish I would have listened back then, and I didn't. You know, and I thought I knew it all, or what have you. But now that, you know, I see things a little bit clearer, in my opinion, and I just hope that people just really just take notice of what the elders are telling them. You know, that's it.
Two things I want to happen. First, for like heterosexual people, I want them to just see that we live our lives not just inside of a club, drinking, having sex, and doing drugs. That you have professional people that live life and have families, and they go through the same struggles that they go through, and maybe they'll see that and have a different perspective, especially also of African American LGBT, you know, because that's another minority, and then we get another stigma. Like sometimes it's like, oh well, white gay people are better than black gay people, you know. So hopefully it can reach someone like that. My second wish is for young, or not even young, but I say young so that they can, definitely young gay people. Because when I was growing up, just like when you were talking about going on a spiritual journey, like I'm going on a spiritual journey and maturing and doing all these things at 30 that I wish I would have had exposure, a documentary like this, to see when I was 20 and I was coming out, that I didn't have to be in the club for 10 years, that I didn't have to, you know, experiment and do all these different things, that you could just grow up and you could have morals and you could be in the community and be an activist. And I think that this is going to touch some young people's lives if they get to see this documentary and say, you know what, okay, instead of going to the club, I'm going to find a community center. I'm going to join a film group, because I'm a film woman who wants to put on heels, but I do like girls when I'm 17. Like, I really hope that this reach those people, and I know that it'll touch people. Also, like for me and my wife having a baby, I hope that touch gay women. Sometimes I think in the lesbian community, they think you have to be with a man for a while and get married and then get a divorce and leave that relationship and then find your way to a woman, or you have to just go sleep with a man to get pregnant or do these things. You don't have to. You know, you can have a family, and you don't have to like give a piece of yourself to do it.
I feel they should learn this documentary. They should learn just the judgmental thing. Let it just flow. Don't let nobody be so judgmental. Don't let it get to you. Just feel good within yourself. That's what I hope a lot of people get out. Is because we've been talking about a lot about different opinions, different families. Because like I came from a family where my family don't even hardly talk to me because of my lesbian life, and I have a big family. So that hurts too. You know what I'm saying, with the spiritual thing. And I want to be closer to my family, and can't. You know what I'm saying? I have to reach out to everybody just to say, hey, I still love you because I'm the bigger person. You know, I don't hate you, but I just wish the best for you. But I still love you because I'm your sister and I'm your daughter, or I'm your niece, you know, and I'm your cousin. And so I wish, you know, people would get that. It's called forgiveness too as well.
I hope that people get that Detroit, being black and gay in Detroit is a lot different than being black and gay in other cities. I was just in New York a couple weeks ago, and I got to go to the Village. I went on Christopher Street, and I saw gay people doing stuff that I don't think they could ever do in the city. I don't see the openness and the outness in the city that I see in other cities. And so I hope that people can give us space to be who we are, even in this city. I also would love for people to get that we're everywhere. We're out, you know. We're you don't got to be looking for us to find us. And I think part of that is because we can be comfortable with ourselves, but another part of that is where we live should also be proud of who we are. I mean, Detroit has a human rights ordinance that includes gay and gay folk and lesbian folk, but how are you enforcing that? What is happening at the Detroit police? Well, we have Danny, who is out there being that liaison, but we need a Danny in every department. We need a Danny in every neighborhood that says it's okay for you to be who you are. And then you talk about being out loud in the deed. That's how that evolves. And so I hope people get that.
I feel like everybody else. I hope that, the same. I hope that everyone can see this and see that you can be who you are. You look at us, you look at the other people that are part of this. Everyone is different. Everyone is different. You've got a Muslim person sitting here that's pregnant with her wife. You've got Ray here, that has kids and didn't have it easy. Her upbringing was hard, but she has a book. She's making her life what she wants it to be. She's femme looking. She's femme looking. You've got Joe, bow ties and locks. I'm a little bit more clean cut. Larry's, somewhat clean cut. He could be a little bit different depending on how he feels he wants to do his hair. But he can give. Larry gives a lot of different things. I give a lot of different things. You've got Dr. Franklin and. You've got what's the nurses? Names. Christian, Christina.
Ladika, Blue and Ladika.
Blue and Ladika. You've got nurses. You've got a large range, even in this small group of people. Well, I was gonna get back to Victor. Well, yeah, we got famous poets in the house, honey, with raps. You've got. In this small group of people, you just think about the city of Detroit, this very small group of people that each person is so different.
Yeah.
And in just who you are, you can be exactly who you want to be. That's right. And not be like anybody else and still be yourself. So I hope that people can see that and say, you know what, I could have been sitting right between Material and Ray. I could have been right there on that couch because I don't have to look like any of them. Yeah. And I have my own story.
I can't believe he called me Material just now.
He was using an example.
No, I thought about it. Material's public. That's not something that go on with me.
Wow.
I like to respect his, so he's material public sometimes. Sometimes he boo boo. But yeah, that's what I would hope that anyone would take away from this. That you could be right along with us and be yourself and share your story.
I hope people are just entertained because I think when people are entertained, they learn and become more tolerant and accepting without making conscious decisions to do so. If they're entertained and they feel like we're relatable and almost like they see one of their cousins in at least one of us, then it feels a little bit different than somebody sitting down and say, you need to accept me, you need to learn this about our rights, you need to do this. If they can relax with us and watch us and understand and get to know us on a basic human level, I think that the tolerance level will increase overall just through this documentary.
Right, and I don't think that we're trying to force ourselves upon anyone. It is just, we're just being who we are, and you just see, we're just being who we are, and we're just out loud in the day.
Yay. Word.
It's a wrap.